Hello, hello, and welcome to Social Media Saturday, brought to you by Get Crystallized Agency. My name is Crystal Cotton, and I am excited about sharing social media or branding and marketing type strategies, ideas, tools, and tips with you on Saturday at noon Eastern in your time, at noon Eastern. So, the purpose of Social Media Saturday is really just to kind of demystify a lot of the ideas and concepts and things that are out there from a marketing perspective as you look at how your business interacts and engages on in the digital arena and particularly on social media. So, once a week for 30 minutes or less, I come out here and share something that I think would be of value to you and your business. And so today, what we're going to talk about is brand identity and brand image. So I had someone ask me for, they wanted help with just kind of like the sentence. They were like, well, I just need help with a sentence. When I talk to people about my business, I just want a nice, succinct way to share what it is I do and why they might see value in that. And so the first thing is it's amazing to just be aware, have a level of awareness to know that the way that you present your business and the way you talk about your business, it does matter when you're interacting with clients, potential clients, or anyone who, because anyone could potentially send you a lead, right? So what I thought is that, and the other thing is that what we used to call them elevator pitches, like the one sentence, your tagline. But I think that I wanted to step back a little bit and talk about why we, or the how do we actually come together with a brand identity, and how, why it's important, and what does it look like? Like, how do you actually do that? Because I think that a lot of times in marketing, and at least this has been my experience, we get a lot of input from a lot of different people. As an entrepreneur, you're busy. You don't really have a whole lot of time to dig deep into some things, because other things require your attention. But then there are some things that you need to know. And so when you do have time to sit down and research, there is a plethora of different opinions, viewpoints, things that you can do, aspects. And what I find has been lacking is just pulling it all together and saying, okay, this is what I need for my business. And so branding is one of those things where everybody is familiar with the term, but few people know everything that is part of it and why we do it. So I put together a few notes and I wanted to just share that with you today, and hopefully to kind of unshroud the mystery of branding and brand identity and help you to have some nuggets that you can use to begin to create your own. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Uh, 1 second. Okay. There we go. Sharing my screen now. So, what is brand identity? It's a little bit better for you to see. What is brand identity? Uh-oh. 1 second. All right. Brand identity, I'm just going to read this, is how a brand portrays itself to the customers. It is the set of all company branding activities created in order to be perceived in a particular way with the target audience. Now, when we did the marketing superhighway, we talked a little bit about target audience. But this is where I think a lot of times we put the cart before the horse, so to speak, because when you're identifying the brand identity, what you really, in order to do that effectively, you need to know who your target audience is. Who are the people that you are identifying as ideal customers, or for your business, and people that you solve problems for? Well, it is you can establish a brand based on who you think you are, but it is virtually impossible to have an effective branding strategy and establish an effective brand identity if you don't know who your target audience is. Because as you can see here in the definition, the brand identity is how you're portrayed to the customer. Well, in order to portray yourself to the customer in the way that's going to get their attention, you have to know what problems they're trying to solve. You have to understand what problems do you solve, and what pain are you going to help that person to eliminate in their life, right? So I I think before you get to brand identity, you need to really do a little bit, not like a huge exercise, but at least do some soul searching about the problem that you solve and how that person's going to feel when your solution solves their problem. Okay. So, and I would say, and this is probably, some people would disagree with this, but I think that you need to really just do it, come up with something, and just roll with it. Because my experience has been, I've had several brand identities as I've evolved in my product offering and in my kind of view of where I add value to the world. Ideally, it would be wonderful if your offering was so clear that you could just sit down and, you know, in 5 minutes and craft a problem statement in a way that you help and just be done with it. But the challenge with that is that you evolve, your business evolves, problems evolve. And so you want to be able to come up with a brand identity at a high enough level, almost at a mission statement level, so that regardless of what products you come up with, regardless of what new problems you're solving, you're always focused on that particular audience. And when you're successful doing that, then no matter what, then no matter what the problem is or what the audience is within the grand scheme of the different products you're offering, you'll always still be focused on solving problems for that audience, if that makes sense. Okay. So, and then I'll go deeper into target audience, because really, to me, target audience is like the main thing you need to nail from a branding perspective. Because with that, all of your marketing efforts, all of your advertising, all of your events, everything that you do will be much easier to structure, because you'll know who you're doing it for, versus just being out in the marketplace. And most entrepreneurs, the first thing they say is like, oh, I need to get a logo. But let's talk about brand identity. Now, I'll go to the next slide. So, brand image versus brand identity. They are not the same, right? Brand identity is what you want the customer to believe about you, right? So you go, you come up with your target audience like we talked about before, and then you say, oh, okay, this is what I do. This is the problem I solve. These are the people I'm going to solve it for. And then you come up with your brand identity, the artifacts. We'll talk a little bit about what those are later. You come up with those, and then you hit the marketplace running in the hopes that you are going to create a brand image that matches your brand identity. But here's the thing about brand image. You can't control it. You can't control what people perceive about you. You can't control, how they view you. It's the customer's perspective of the brand that results from your actions and how they interact with your logo and with your visual brand and all those other things. But you can't control what they perceive, right? So it's important to always kind of be aware of that perception. And that is where a lot of times reputation management will come into play. There's a whole technique around reputation management. And so you want to always be aware. You can create the brand identity based on your target audience. You know what you want your brand identity to be, but man, what it actually is with the customer is what really matters. And you have to be attuned and mindful of what that is so you can always make sure that you're giving the right image for you. So, the next thing is, let's talk about the importance of brand identity. So, we kind of talked about it at a high level, but let's talk at a little bit of a deeper dive. So, the first thing that brand identity does is it helps you to develop a brand image, right? So if you had nothing in the marketplace, then um, it would be reputation, face to face. If you have a local business, it's very easy. You do work for someone, they love it, they refer. So referral business is the best type of brand image, in the sense that somebody worked with you, they saw your work, and then you established not only your image with them, but your image was basically established by the work that you performed. And then someone said, "Hey, use this person because they do great work." Ultimately, that's where you want to get to. You want to get to someone who used your service, used your product, they had a great experience, and they told someone else. But to scale your business, that is where the brand identity comes in, because in addition to the people that are your current customers and the people that your customers refer to you, there's also a ripe field of people out there who are looking for what you do, who have the problem that you are seeking to solve, and so they need to know who you are. And so your brand identity helps you to present yourself and to be proactive and go after educating those new potential customers that you are available to help them solve their problem. Okay. So it helps to develop a brand image among people that you don't already know, right? Um, the second thing is that it helps differentiate you from the competition. So what makes you different? So for me, for example, there's tons of marketing agencies out there. There's marketing agencies that will help you, with digital. There's some with SEO. There's tons of different areas where they help you solve a problem that you have. But for Good Crystallized Agency, we market ourselves as being simple, fast, and affordable. Because what I found is that with my target audience being entrepreneurs, that the landscape of marketing products can be very complex, very expensive, and it takes a long time to get it done, right? So I wanted to, and I could see how, even though there are some cases where the very elaborate marketing and website development, they definitely are effective and needed, for the most part, most entrepreneurs really could be off to the races with something that was much, much different, and that meet their specific needs, versus a lot of bells and whistles that you never really get benefit from and never get return on investment from. So that's an example. Or say, for example, you might be a dog groomer. And so for some people, I think we used this example before. If you have a puppy, or you're in a luxury environment, you have a different brand identity that you might establish with someone versus if you were in a non-luxury environment or a more down-to-earth group of people, right? As your target audience. So these are the things that come into play because they help everything that we do. Let me step back. Everything that we do is designed to help our potential customers connect with us and get to know about us, because the more they know about us and like us, they will trust us with their business and become customers. Okay, that's why we do everything that we do in this way, is to educate potential customers about what you do and how you can help them. Okay, so to the extent that you can differentiate yourself from the competition, in other words, niche down. I could be a marketing agency. I could be um, an elite marketing agency that does all full scale implementations and product launches, or I could be um, a standard marketing agency that gets you where you need to be in a fast way, an affordable way, and a simple way. Okay. So I don't know about you, but for me, I like simplicity. I just want to get it done fast, get it done right, and have it do what I need it to do. Like most of the time, I don't want a lot of bells and whistles. I don't want a lot of detail. I just want what I need and I want it now. So for me personally, someone who is promoting something that has a lot of details and different versions and all that, I'm like, I just need this, and this. How do I do it? So for me, I use myself as, and this might work for you, I use myself as kind of a description or avatar for the target customer, because I am sharing what has been my experience, and the problems that I'm seeking to solve are the problems that I have actually had as an entrepreneur. So I like the quick, fast, get it done right, move on, have results. So anyway, and then the third thing is it creates consistency. And what I mean by that is that when you're out and about and you are offering your products and services abound around, you want people to be able to recognize you and say, "Oh, okay, that's Crystal. Oh, okay, she has a marketing agency. Oh, yeah, that looks like Crystal's brand, right? Or that looks like Joe's brand, or Roderick's brand, or Cynthia's brand." You want people to be able to look at your information, your products, and your things and know it's you. And when they know that it's you, then it gives you more consistent recognition in the marketplace. It's kind of like if somebody tells you about an app on your iPhone, your Android, or your whatever your smart device application store. They'll go through and they say, "Oh, which one is it? Oh, it's the black icon with the white diamond on it." Then you're scrolling because there are a lot of different ones that might meet that description of your product, but you're looking for the one that is the one your friend told you about, that's the black with the white diamond on in the circle on top, right? So that is the significance of being consistent. And then it makes you look more professional when you're consistent. When you're consistent with the way you show up in the marketplace, people know you're serious, and they understand that you've taken some time and some consideration to come up with what your identity is going to be. And so that's valuable in terms of how you've shown up as a professional. And then finally, it helps develop a personality. So even though our business itself is not per se a personality, you know that different companies have different personalities. Coke has a different personality than Pepsi, right? I mean, Walgreens has a different personality than CVS. That's intentional because they are catering to a certain target audience. There's that word again, right? So that's what we want to do in terms of branding. So I hope this has been helpful for you. In terms of just identifying the importance of brand identity. And so now what I want to share with you is just the components of a brand identity. We'll do that real quick and then I'll wrap up. So I really like the way it's been laid out. I'm on by a group called Feed Dough, and they go through and they talk about both the visual elements and the non-visual elements because there's both related to your brand. So let's just go through those. So the visual elements are brand name, right? Now, sometimes with your brand name, I like personally for my brand name, Crystallized Agency, it started out as something else. And to be quite honest, um, I like the concept was clarity. To get crystallized means to take something from a complex topic and get clear about it. And so I had a tagline that was clarity is power. But then as I started to expand more on it, I realized that my target audience, even though they may connect with that, when they're looking for marketing, they're just looking for marketing. So, and the other thing, they're just looking for it to be simple, for it to be quick, get it to me when I need it, and for it to be affordable, because a lot of the marketing, the budgets can be, astronomical. So I changed that tagline to say marketing fast. I don't remember my own tagline. Simple, fast, and affordable, because I wanted to make sure that people could understand by looking at my brand what it was. But the brand name gets still a little bit ambiguous. But I'm to be honest, I'm not changing it right now because I'm off to the races. And so when I get to a certain point, a level, I may look at rebranding it. But right now, I love the image of the diamond because it is a crystal. It's multifaceted for multifacets of business. So I may look at, changing the tagline or doing something a little bit different later. But the imagery of a diamond and how rough it is and how diamonds are kind of, it's kind of like as an entrepreneur, you start out with something that looks like a rock, right? And then there's some pressure that's involved, and there's some heat, and there's some things that happen to turn that rock into something magnificent that is in fact one of the strongest substances on the earth, diamond. Right. So that really resonated with me. That made me, that really, to me, communicates the strength of what I'm building with the agency and the strength of what I'm building with my customers and my clients. I'm helping them to take their idea that may look like to someone else a rock, applying the pressure to it that we need to do to find out kind of who is the market, and then and helping them as they're helping to create it and make it brilliant in terms of the offering. I'm working with them and helping it to become brilliant in the customer, right? And solid and hard and sticking, right? So that when people look at your business and they look at marketing, they know you're about the business. Okay, I didn't mean to do like all the other, but I got excited about my, and you should. This is another example. You should get excited about your brand. Your brand should excite you. Your brand should help you to communicate something about your fortitude and your internal personality, so that people can even get to know a little bit about you. So I was feeling a little iffy about that when I first transitioned, but when I started really just digging deep into why I select that as my logo, man, I got fired up, right? So the brand image, your logo, your brand name, your logo and tagline. We kind of talked about all three of those now. Your typography style. What is that? Can you even say it, Crystal? That is fonts that you use. And believe it or not, different fonts send different messages. A message of simplicity, then you'll use a simpler font. If your offering is something complex that really resonates with intellectuals, you'll have a different font. If it's a luxury item, there's a different font. And those fonts really do communicate part of your image. So you want to be aware of that. You don't want to just put any fonts on yours. You need to define those. And then once you define them, have them be consistent on everything you do. And that will help establish your image. And then the color palette, just as important. There's actually color psychology that is very prevalent in marketing, because different colors portray different feelings and different emotions. So you want to make sure that you're considering the color palette along with the typography, along with the logo, because that is your visual representation. And also, so you'll have different imagery that goes along with your offering. So that's the pictures that go along with anything that you produce, like a kit or a brochure or anything like that. That's also all part of your visual brand and the visual elements of your brand. So then we also talk about the non-visual elements of your brand, which I'll hurry up through these. Your brand personality is basically like what we talked about. The personality, the personal elements of your brand, and what you want people to kind of perceive when they look at your brand. The association. So, for example, if you have Keanu Reeves represent your product, then you're going to have a different vibe than if you have The Rock represent your products, right? So it's about who is your brand associated with, what is your brand associated with. And then brand, and this is important, is about, are you formal, informal? There's 4 dimensions a brand voice, and it's about how language comes off to people that you're communicating with. So you can have a voice that's very formal, like we make sure to please, or you can have a more casual one that says we got you. And that's all about that aligns with kind of the personality of your. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I really wanted to be able to convey what I've learned about branding and how it helps me and how it can help you. If you have questions about branding, or you want to learn more, or you just want to bounce some ideas, then definitely feel free to reach out to me at 248-919-54 Crystallized Agency, and I'm happy to help. You can also go to my website at get crystallized now getagency.com, and then you can learn all about the other marketing services that are offered by agency. And I'd love to be able to have a quick chat with you to see how Get Crystallized Agency may be able to help you reach your business goals. So with that, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday right here for Social Media Saturday. Bye for now.